Dear God, I'm ready for your help in removing from me the defects of character which I now realise are an obstacle to my recovery. Help me to continue being honest with myself and guide me towards spiritual and mental health. Amen. It is with much love and gratitude that the group welcomes Nikoleta D to come in and share with us. Nikoleta, over to you.
Hey guys, thanks so much, Purdy. Hi everybody, my name is Nikoleta. I'm an addict, alcoholic. It's great to be with you. Thanks for the invitation. I get to be of service. I feel completely unprepared. I didn't listen to anybody else's recordings on 6 and 7. At some point when I came home, I was like, I got so stuck. I was like, oh my God, what does step 6 and 7 say? Because I kept thinking about my stepdaughter. And for weeks, she's 6 and 7, 6 and 7. There's this thing that she can't explain to me what it is, but she's absolutely obsessed with it. So that's out. I said that. But I just hope I speak from my deepest experience. My clean date is September 15, 2006. I hit rock bottom. And I would say, like, in reflection, when I think of that time in my life and, the misery and the terror and the depression and the loneliness and the inability to stop drinking and drugging, even though I wanted to and I had every reason to, and complete disconnection from the depth of my being and a sense of like meaning and purpose in life, not feeling inspired, not feeling alive, just surviving, just existing. I would summarize all of that as the self has weakened enough. It's almost like the self got out of the way. All of my stories, all of my narrative, all of my desire, my illusion to be in control of life, in control of my drinking and drugging, in control of what's going to happen, in control of the people around me, all of that collapsed. And there was just this really humble, profound, and deep moment of truth. And for the first time in many years, I said, I can't stop and I need help. And from that place, there was a manipulated pause, I call it. There was just a profound experience of surrender, being surrendered. An experience, there was this clarity, there was the mental obsession was removed. All of this happened in a split second of either I was going to end my life and kill myself because I don't want to admit powerlessness, or there was going to be a letting go. And the letting go occurred, and I was brought into the program of recovery. And I shared that to qualify, sure. But I shared that really to tell you that experience still holds. And Alcoholics Anonymous extended that experience. It extended. When I look back in that split second on the floor of my apartment with an eviction notice and a plan to die, I experienced steps 1, 2, and 3. In observation and reflection, the intention of these steps, what they're pointing to, was experienced in a split second at my rock bottom. And I came into this process of recovery. I was moved to another state. I was institutionalized for months. I didn't want to leave. I had no agenda. I was completely neutral with where I was going to be, what it's going to look like, how long I was going to stay there, what do I have. Those are all byproducts of this surrender. And there was a curiosity and a willingness to sit in meetings and listen to a language I didn't understand. I'm not talking about English. I'm talking about the language of recovery. I'm talking about not having any reference point for what they were talking about. With strangers who were way too honest and seemed just a bit bizarre, with some steps on the wall, just made no sense. And that willingness was a byproduct of that surrender. It was a byproduct of hitting that rock bottom. That's a metaphor, right? That's a metaphor for 19 years of hitting rock bottoms when I hit the walls of self. or various manifestations of self which defeat me. And the umbrella manifestations of self are the ones we write in the inventory, in fourth column in the resentment inventory, and in the inventory process in the fourth step talks about selfishness, self-seeking, fear, and dishonesty. Those are like the umbrella character defects, right? And I get to start seeing the hideousness of my life run on my will as a result of that process, you know. I was willing, I was humbled, I was open. Funny enough, the three things that are required for us to do this. And the book says it over and over and over and over again. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness, indispensable. It's like telling me to just trust the process. Trust the spiritual surgery of the 12 steps. Some call it 12 spiritual exercises. Some say it's one spiritual exercise that has 12 parts. And each part empowers the next one, sets the stage for the next one to happen. And I have this experience with step work, and I have this incredible fifth step experience with my sponsor who I absolutely trusted. And for the first time in my life, I have an honest, transparent, emotionally vulnerable conversation with another human being, where my only agenda is to see the truth. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to see the truth about my life, my relationship with life, my relationship with others. How do I move? What are my ideas, conscious or unconscious? What does that look like? And I get to inventory all of that, all of my arguments with life and reality and my inner self and people that I've encountered and how that manifested in various harms and all of that stuff. And I get to see, and something magical that happened in the fifth step, I have this like deeper heart opening experience. Like, but I don't want to be like this. And I know better. And I start to have an experience that's similar to that experience I had over alcohol and cocaine and the powerlessness when it came to substances. I experienced this deeper powerlessness over the way I move. And over life and over people. My life being dominated by others. Me wanting to act differently or show up differently or being seen differently and not having access to power to do that. Not being able to do that. So I have this fifth step. I have this incredible experience. I feel closer to the truth. I have these moments of seeing, like, it starts dropping this narrative about life and about my image that I want to protect. It just like naturally as a result of an honest fifth step, God makes that happen. Truth makes that happen. The willingness makes that happen, right? And the next direction after that fifth step was to have a quiet hour, which is a nightmare for alcoholics and drug addicts, unless you've had a really great fifth step experience. Because for the first time in my life, I was able to sit with myself at perfect peace and ease for an hour and reflect on the first 5 steps that I did. Was I absolutely honest? Do I have any secrets? Is there something hiding in a corner that I'm protecting that I'm not willing to share, right? And I'm also having this experience of like, how would I say it? My heart was broken. I had a heartbreak. Like my heart was broken and I experienced regret over how many people I've harmed, but I also broke my own heart. I started having these experiences that there is a place of truth deep within me. Like I knew better. I wanted to do better. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't want to end up in this place. But certain decisions made in the past put me in a position to be hurt now. That I based on self. Certain decisions based on self in the past. It was a self-imposed crisis. It was self-manifested in various ways what that defeated me. Not drugs, not alcohol, not the circumstances of my life, not my childhood trauma, not the family or the country I was born in, not the current state of politics, none of that. Self. It was the self that needed inventorying. That's why we do self-examination. It's personal inventory. And I have this quiet hour where for the first time in my life, and I was 27 at the time, for the first time in my life, I have an experience of being alone with myself at perfect peace and ease. And then the directions in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous are 2 paragraphs for 6 and 7. And like any newcomer with the first 5th step experience, 6, done. 7, prayer, done. And off I went through the rest of the work. And that was beautiful. That was okay, because I'll tell you right now, 19 years later, I don't go through the steps. I get moved through the steps. We get moved through the steps. If I'm the doer, if I'm the one doing this, then it's a self-improvement project. Then I have my own power. Then I'm not powerless. Then lack of power is not my dilemma. Then I don't need to be seeking God. I don't need to be seeking a higher power. Then I'll never experience humility. Then I'll never hit rock bottoms in recovery to bring me closer to some truth. But that experience, that experience of humility and powerlessness, first seen, the bottle was a metaphor. The cocaine was a metaphor. Like that was the first tangible experience of powerlessness. Brought me into the work enough for me to see, oh, I have no power. I don't know what the next moment brings. I don't know if my internet is going to go down. I don't know if there's going to be an earthquake tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be alive. I actually don't know. And not knowing or admitting powerlessness is not what the mind wants to do. And the book also talks about the problem centers in the mind. So I need to be suspicious of my narrative about anything. So I found everything in my 5th step objectionable. All of the things that I saw, everything that I saw, and there were, of course, glaring character defects, right, for survival, right, and protecting an image, and who knows what, and what they're going to think, and am I going to lose this, and I'm not going to get that if they know, and there was, the glaring defects of character, which just like this obscene, like dishonesty and lying, cheating, stealing, breaking hearts, inconsideration of others, and just this selfish and self-centered fear. What's in it for me? How about me? I want mine. Me. And that dropped. The gross elements of that dropped as a result of that humility and that openness and that willingness to be transformed, to be changed, to live a different life, because my way didn't work. I trust infinite God by not trusting the finite self. If somebody gave me a direction, trust infinite God, it just, what, how, what? No, it's not the internet. It's me going like I'm confused. Like, can you put it in layman's terms? But I have an experience with not trusting the finite self. I have an experience with not seeing things the way they are. I have an experience with deluding myself. I have an experience with self-deception. I have an experience with I'm just going to do one line. Just going to do one bag. I'm not calling the dealer at 6 a.m. I'm not knocking on his door in Washington Heights at 11 a.m. He's going to think I'm nuts. It's the 5th time. I'm not doing it. No, I'm going to drink like a lady. I'm going to do a happy hour with my coworkers, and I'm going to remember the rest of the night. I'm going to shower, and I'm going to go to work in the morning. I'm going to show up because I can't lose my job. None of that ever happened, by the way. I don't drink like a lady, and I'm an absolute maniac when you introduce cocaine to me. Okay? This Nikoleta, gone. Unrecognizable. Off to the races, no breaks. My mind's telling me, you got this. Bill Wilson's mind tells him, hey, I gotta drink a bottle full of gin and 6 beers just to eat breakfast. And the very next sentence he says, nevertheless, I still thought I could control the situation. That's the name of the game. That's where character defects hide for me. There's an element of me wanting to be in control of life. I'm afraid. I don't trust the great reality. I don't think I'll be taken care of. I want to protect some image. I feel tremendous amount of insecurity. That naturally happened, not intellectually, for me, when I had that fifth step experience. And it was followed by that quiet hour that the book requires. It says we sit for an hour. We go over the first 5 steps. I get to see when will I be more willing when I take a look at the ego's blueprint of my own life. When am I going to be more willing when I know my life is on the line? When am I going to be more willing? I was willing. I said, I need help. I walked out of that fifth and I was like, oh my God, alcohol and drugs are not my problem. I was like, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I drink to relieve myself of self. And I put myself in those positions when I try to play God, when I try to be in control of life, when I think I know better, when I'm self-righteous, when I'm greedy, when I'm self-seeking approval or being a part of something because I think I can't be without it. You know? And I found them objectionable. I was absolutely willing. And what also happened in the fifth step with me is this heart opened up and I regretted. I wanted to serve this power. I wanted to serve this love. I wanted to serve this truth. I couldn't wait to make amends. I was absolutely petrified of making it, but I had no choice but to make them. That's literally what it was like. I had no choice but to make them. And in the making of the amends, even more of those character defects that I saw in my inventory of how I led my life and how I saw my life were just removed. And I don't know that they are removed. I think they're recycled. And I don't know that I'm the best judge of what's a character defect and what's not, and the name that I should give it. All of that to me is playing God. All of that to me can be a self-improvement strategy, especially when I have some time clean and sober. And I know the work, and I know the book, and I'm going to dig deeper, and now I'm going to be a meditator, and now I'm going to, I'm speaking, at Purdy's meeting, like 6 and 7, because I have no idea what I'm doing still. I still feel like a newcomer. I'm still curious. I still know that 19 years later, 3 years ago, what I thought about God is not what I think about God today. 5 years ago, what I thought about me and my narratives is not what's present for me today. So the present moment is the one that needs to be informing me about my character defects. The present moment, the great reality, will show me where I'm still blind, what's still sticky, what wants my attention, what is not aligned. I will be in pain. I will feel it because I'm not getting checked out. My body will respond, which is way more intelligent than my mind. I don't need a mind-dominated life. I need a spirit-dominated life. I need to trust whatever is in front of me. So my self-pity shows up. Ah, there you are. There you are. You're familiar. I know this feeling. I kind of enjoy it. I like to be a little bit of a victim, Not as much responsibility. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit in this. And this is what I've seen over the years. If they're still appearing, and for each of us, it's going to be something different sticky. My self-righteousness, my self-pity, maybe it's more personal to me. To somebody else, it could be more lust. For someone else, it could be more greed. But by the way, we got them all. If you're a human being, and I think there's no aliens here, but anything is possible. We're in 2025. It's 26 and 7. All kinds of things are happening in the world. You're human. We're the same. We have as much of Gandhi and Mother Teresa and Buddha and Jesus in us as we have the most atrocious things you've ever seen or heard. Everything is a mirror. Everybody is a mirror. I can see a character defect in somebody else, and one of my mentors said, the moment you see it in somebody else, in that moment you can ask for it to be removed from you. I recognize that doesn't serve. I recognize that brings pain. I recognize this is not how I want to move. It might not be happening in that moment for me, but I can ask this power, hey. Because I come to this power and say, I don't know what this is sometimes. I don't want to put a label on it and then run a story and a narrative about it, and I'm not even seeing it right. Is this lazy? Is this procrastination? Is this rest as spiritual practice? I can't see self always, but my body will get into pain. I won't feel aligned. I'm going to feel off. The mental noise will get more. I'm going to want to justify or rationalize something. Truth doesn't need justifying or rationalizing. It doesn't need defending. Truth with a capital T. Talking about truth with a capital T. So that was my first experience, but that was the flavor of that experience. And then the amends really work their magic. The act of amends making work their magic, because am I standing in front of someone and I'm not just amending. Hey man, I'm dishonest and I practice dishonesty to protect me, and that's not right and that's not fair. But I'm saying I don't want to live like this. It's a commitment. It's an amendment to an old employer. I had an old employer that allowed dishonesty. My new employer is like, you're going to be okay if you just be real. You're going to be all right. Just tell the truth. In the raw, vulnerable, no agenda kind of way. There's nothing to protect. Am I willing to drop the story of me? And then I get introduced to step 10. It's self-examination, spot check inventory, right? What am I continuing to do? Self-examination. Self-examination. The only job, this is in my humble opinion, in my experience, the only job in step 6 is for me is to see. Nothing else. I just need to be willing to see. Not change it, not explain it, not rationalize it, not defend it, and not try to work on it, because that would be a self-improvement project and that would be me playing God. Oh, there's the self-pity. I want to be right here. Why? Because I want to be taken a certain way in this company at my job. I feel some sort of way. Although maybe I have a resentment with that guy. Actually, let me put pen to paper a little bit. What's the self-seeking here? What am I afraid of? What would happen if what would my life look like without this fear? What would my life look like without this fear? Because the book talks about perhaps there's a better way. And the spot check inventory is about that. It's about seeing, right? It's an exercise in mindfulness. It's an exercise in awareness. I think this whole thing is about coming home, and I think the coming home is coming home to the depth of our own being. Page 55 in the book says, within every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. It says, where can it be found? Deep down within. It's obscured by what? Pride and pomp of other things and worship of other things and resentments and fears and all these character defects that come up, all of my humanness, all of my insecurities, jealousy, envy, pretense. But what is that protecting? Some image I'm trying to protect. Grasping something or resisting something. Is that my relationship with God? I want this, I don't want that. That's me playing God. That's me being dominated by other things. We see that the world and its people really dominated us. If you act the way I want you to act, I'll be okay. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's like the dog, running, going after its own tail. And it's work. It's like work and control and managing and managing and managing and managing. And what does managing do? Unmanageability. The more I try to manage, the more unmanageable my life becomes. And we constantly talk about in recovery, like let go and let God. Surrender. We talk about grace. We talk about you didn't do it. Nothing, you don't do it. We even talk about when you speak, God speaking through you. Get out of the way. Set aside everything you know. Be open, willing, and mind. It's not like in one part of the book. It's the whole thing. It's at all times. It's when I'm a newcomer. It's when I got 5 years. It's when I got 10 years. It's when I got 19 years. And granted, my first 5th step, and I've had a few, was specific to my drinking and drugging because I was always loaded. I didn't really have a lot of relationships or experiences that did not have alcohol and drugs infused in it. I didn't even know who I was when I came into recovery and what I wanted. I had an idea of who I was and how I thought that I wanted to be seen. But it's really in recovery. It's really by proxy of abstinence that I, for the first time, show up for life. And then I start having relationships soberly, in a sober way. And that's where really some of the deeper seated stuff started coming up in later recovery. Where am I still holding, even unconsciously? Where do I still suffer from the delusion that I'm in control or I should be in control? Where am I still not trusting this power? That life will take care of me, that the great reality knows what it's doing, that there's a creative intelligence in the universe. There's a music to the spheres, that nothing is wasted, that all is welcome, that everything is an invitation, that I'm just to show up, I'm to say yes. I don't show up, I don't say yes because I'm scared. From the smallest things to the biggest things. Am I going to get a raise? Am I going to be financially okay? How are we going to get through that court? I don't know if I can pay that lawyer. I'm going to work hard. I go into management. I immediately, like unconsciously go into, how can I manage this? And guys, I'm not saying don't show up, and the mind, there's a reason we have it. It's God-given. It's really good at calendars and time management and, balancing out your checkbook and, but it's got no business with this stuff we're talking about. None. It has no ability to give me a narrative about the depth of life. And, I have 19 years, 3 years ago, I started hitting some stuff in my family dynamic. Childhood trauma came up. I started dating a man with a 4-year-old girl, and she was next to me at all times. And some childhood stuff started coming up for me. Something was getting triggered in me as a result of being next to a 4-year-old and as a result of being in a safe relationship. And, in addition to the 12-step work and some spiritual mentors and elders and my practices of prayer and meditation, I ended up in therapy for trauma and stuff, right? Childhood dynamics and internal family systems and stuff like that. And I tell you, the other day I said to somebody, man, I feel like I'm doing 4 through 7 every week. 4 through 7, like I'm seeing stuff about me, and then I'm like, experiencing the emotion that comes with it, and then I'm like doing this like confessional element, which makes me incredibly humble, and I want change, and I want it different, and being intellectual is not enough, and then I'm like giving it over to God, and I'm like asking for it to be removed or recycled, or for me to be shown the way. Because I'm just digging a little bit more deeper. I'm just using one more modality in my spiritual seeking. All of those are modalities. Whether I go breath work, which I do, and floating, which I do, and chanting, which I do, and prayer and meditation, and coming into therapy in a prayer for, and doing somatic therapy, which introduces my body. Where are you holding in the body? Where is it in the body? And stuff like that. And I know this is 12 steps, but I'm just sharing with you my experience, right? Because this is about work on me. I want to get closer to me, the depth of me, the real me, the one deep in me. I want to come home. I want to get closer to that. I'm home in our fellowship, but I also want to get close and aligned with the will of God, where my will and God's will is one will. And when that happens, I travel lighter. And when that happens, I get carried. And when that's present in my life, there's not a lot of mental noise. And when that's present in my life, life is enjoyable and open and they're joyous and everything is a gift and everything is full of grace and I have the eyes to see it. But when I'm protecting an image, when I'm resisting something that's in front of me, when I'm not willing to see it as an opportunity for something I'm not seeing. Because when a character defect keeps showing up, whether we see it in the 10-step spot check inventory or if there's something that's continually present, I'm not seeing something. That's not good or bad. That's just the way that life is communicating with me, that my God communicates to me. Look here, like sit here, bring this to silence. Bring this to stillness. And what I find is that when I sit quietly in that quiet place, something gets revealed for me. Anytime I bring it into a prayerful and meditative way, it comes up for me. So 6 is seeing, and it's an unfolding. 6 is kind of like an unfolding, and it's a lifelong, people say, it separates the boys from the men, I think in 12 and 12. I always used to say in early recovery, a man separates the boys from the men. Of course, all of us want to change something in the recovery literature. I wouldn't say that. I would say it like this. No, I think this. Now, I'm like, oh, I get it. I understand what you meant by that. Now I can see. Because, in early recovery, there was the pink cloud. In early recovery, there was a tremendous amount of willingness and humility. In the early recovery, I didn't know anybody except the girl that drank and drugged from 16 to 27 and developed a certain idea of self, of me, that I wanted to protect. But it was abstinence that really introduced me into life. In sobriety, I had my first relationships that failed. In sobriety, I experienced financial insecurities. In sobriety, I saw that I wanted to exaggerate or lie by omission. In sobriety, I wanted mine, and saw that I wanted to defend and justify. In sobriety, I experienced self-pity and depression and anxiety. In sobriety, I experienced mental noise. That was calling my attention. Look here, there's something for you to see. There's some work to be done. And you can't do anything about it except see. Your job is to see. To be willing to see the truth. My greatest prayer, my biggest prayer, the one I always work with, it's always present. I should tattoo it on my forehead. I just want to see the truth. No agenda. Even if I don't like it. There's a poem by Master Rumi. It's called The Guest House. And he talks about this being human is a guest house every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary unawareness comes. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows, he says, they're bringing something to you. They're all an opportunity for you to see something. And I love that. You can Google it, Rumi Guest House. It's a beautiful poem because it talks about deepening our experience of surrender. I'm willing to let go more. I'm willing to open more. I'm willing to be more honest without the need to protect any idea of myself. It's the dying of self. It's literally the dying of self. Is for me 6 and 7. And then the 7-step prayer is really, it's a commitment. And it's an extension, really, a conclusive extension of that 3rd-step prayer. Did I mean it? Did I mean my 3rd step? It's like, like these are like simple things we need to ask each other. Did you really mean that? You give your will and your life over to the care of God? Really? All of it? God's everything? All the time? In every moment? Every day? Even when you don't like it? Did you mean it? Well, you're going to be tested, whether you meant it. Life is going to tickle you and going to pull you and going to squeeze you. You know why? Because the truth is life does that, and we wouldn't want it any other way. The most beautiful thing that's happened to me is like, I wouldn't want it any other way. I can give you stories that would make you feel pity for me and make me feel like a victim or a martyr. But I look back at my life and the family I've been given and the country I was from and the hardship I went through and all the things I've done, and I don't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. And I wouldn't want it any other way, because this Nikoleta wouldn't be sitting in front of this screen right now. It couldn't have been any other way. He brought me to this point. Nothing can be taken out. Even the most atrocious things that I didn't deserve, that are valid to be grieved about, that I can experience pain. But how big is your God? And this is not an intellectual container of a God. That's not what the 7-step talks about. You take them, every single one of them, and my judgment of it. Because what do I know? What's good character defect? What's a bad character defect? Which one serves me at work? Which one serves me at home? Which one doesn't serve me? Which one? How do I know? Who am I relying on? My mind? That I can't always see, and I have an incredible ability to self-deceive. So this is about courage, because all men of faith have courage. It's about courage to see. This is why the 7-step says, give me strength. Give me strength. Because it is easy to let up on a spiritual program of action. Only place in the book it says it's easy. Everything else, there's a price to be paid. But, we wake up, we want to wake up some more, we feel good, the mental obsession is removed, we know the steps, we got a home group, we got a job, we got some money in our pocket, we got a handsome guy or a girl next to us. We feel good. We're like, we're somebody again. And then 25 years sober, we drunk. 20 years sober, we hung ourselves. We suffer in silence because we have sober time. Why am I suffering in silence? Because I want to protect the 19 years I got. I want to protect my name on all these flyers. No! I'm getting humbled all the time. I'm hitting rock bottoms all the time. With self manifesting in various ways, defeating me. It's an exercise in trust all the time. Not all the time. I have a pretty good life, guys. God didn't bring me this far. I didn't do all this work to say, it's bad news, guys, watch out. But I want to talk about the progressive, chronic, fatal illness. I'm a little bit serious. It's one of my character defects. But maybe I'm not, because I'm fun. I don't think I'm fun. I always think I'm not funny at all. But people, when I'm relaxed and when I'm aligned, we're always joking and laughing, and just it comes out. But I think I'm serious, because I had a dark life. Even that, I think it was a dark life. And so everything is up for review all the time. Everything is fresh. Everything is in the present moment. Everything is in the now. I'm learning to stand at the intersection of here and now, and I'm learning to be shown what area am I asleep, where the diamond is not polished, where am I not seeing clearly, where my glasses are foggy as it pertains to me, because this life, this power knows me. And all of it is perfectly designed for my awakening. Why? So that I can serve you, because without you, it's not complete. And any spiritual awakening, what are we in the business of having had a spiritual awakening? If I'm awakening, that means I'm asleep, and I can fall asleep, and I'll hit cul-de-sacs, and I'll take detours, and I'll forget, and I need to be reminded, and I need to be brought back home. And it'll happen. Life will continuously, sometimes in fierce ways, bring me back to my knees in my heart. Bring me back to willingness. Bring me back to surrender. These are the flavors of 6 and 7. Self-examination, humility, saying yes, willingness, trust, and courage. Courage to see, courage to not protect. I'm Nikoleta, I'm this and that, and I want this and that, and I deserve this and that. And I know what others should, and righteousness is another one. Self-righteous, judgment, all human stuff, all really good at discernment, all appropriate for when you're, driving a car or, like in a difficult situation. But we're extreme examples. Guys, we are extreme examples of self-will run right. If we're extreme examples, that means all the selfish, crazy people, normal people we see out there are just regular examples. They are like less than us. We are extreme examples. They are the normal ones. And we're like walking around judging them for being so but we are the extreme examples. But I can't see myself. I need all of you. I need my sponsor. I need my elders. I need my mentors. I need the program of AA, CA. I need spiritual practices. I need silence. I need my willingness. I need willingness to tell the truth. I got overpaid on a check. I'm going to end you with this. My check just got processed. I got overpaid. 2 days. I knew that I was going to say something, but for 2 days, my mind had a blast. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, maybe it was a bonus. Maybe they meant to give me more money. And like a part of me started laughing because no, that's what you want to think. But that's not what's going on. Somebody made a mistake. Well, they're not even going to know. Yeah, but you're going to know, Nikoleta. I'm going to know. You know what I mean? That's the fear coming up. Right now, this week. That's the fear coming up. Which one? It's in the umbrella. Selfishness, self-seeking, fear, afraid, and dishonest. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And my mind is giving all these reasons. And then I start comparing myself to the other guy and the other guy. And then now I'm indignant. And now there's a resentment creeping in. All of it because I don't want to give back what I actually want to give back. Because it's the right thing to do and I can't sleep if I don't do it. And you know what's hiding behind it? A bottle and a bag. A bottle and a bag. Few bucks. My life. Few bucks or my life. Peace of mind, priceless. Feeling light and aligned, priceless. Knowing my truth and being okay with God, truth, love, priceless. Doing the right thing even when I need it. Exercising trust. And every time that's happened in 19 years and I did the right thing, man, did I feel like $1 million. Man, was a drink or a drug not even miles and miles away near me. Not just that, inspiration. Feeling of fullness, aliveness. No mental narrative. None. Peace. Peace of mind is really not. It's an oxymoron. I mean, come on, really. Let's sit quietly for 3 minutes. How many of you are going to think about dinner? What who's saying, what time is it? Why do we got to do it? You know what I mean? That's a perfect example of 6 and 7 at work. And knowing that I don't want to be that. Oh my God, the clock is done. I cannot believe we did it. We did it. Oh my God. Thank you, God. This was my first time ever speaking on 6 and 7. I hope I spoke on 6, 6, 7. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nikoleta. Thank you. Wow. I appreciate you, and you was definitely heard. I'm grateful you're here. Let's all take a moment, guys. My Creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. I'd like to now hand back to Nikoleta to take us out with a prayer or a reading of your choice. Thank you.
Oh boy, reading of my choice. Jeez. Ah, I'm so unprepared. Okay. I'll read from page 85, just one paragraph. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, we have begun to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. To some extent, we have become God conscious. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. And with that, I'm just going to close you out with the we version of the Serenity Prayer. We'll just take a moment to be here. God. Oh my God, I forgot the Serenity Prayer. Wait, how does it start? Somebody help me.
God, grant me the serenity.
Grant us the serenity. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change. The courage to change the things we can. And the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you, guys.